This is Jonathan Agarth here for Pro Boxing Fans. We're up here in Newcastle. It's fight week. Savannah Marshall defending her WBO middleweight title against Femke Hermans this Saturday night on Sky Sports, joined by boxers Spencer Oliver. Spencer, how you doing?
How are we doing, man? Yeah, I'm all good. You?
Not bad, thanks. Been a busy few weeks, few months. How have you found, obviously, your new role with Boxer, and obviously you've been at Sky for a while now? Yeah,
I'm loving it. I'm loving the new role at Boxer. You know, just sort of working a little bit behind the scenes, working a lot in front of the camera as well, doing a lot of stuff I haven't done for a while. So yeah, it's exciting times. But you know what? I tell you what, it's keeping me busy, man. You know, we've gone from Cardiff to Manchester to Glasgow. Now we're back in Newcastle. Yeah, we're on the road, mate. It's busy times. But you know what? This is what I love. This is what I love doing. I love these fights. You know, I love the big pay-per-view shows, but I also like these shows as well. Savannah Marshall versus Femke Hermans. I'm looking forward to this fight. Claressa Shields is coming over. All roads lead to Savannah Marshall, Claressa Shields, possibly one of the biggest, or if not the biggest women's fight of all time, if Savannah comes through. So yeah, exciting times, mate. It really is. It's great. Great undercard on this one as well, actually. I'm looking forward to Florian Marku versus Chris Jenkins. Brad Ray, the good young prospect, he's really developing now as well. Looking forward to him. And yeah, Diego Costa's on there as well. That's a great fight as well.
Not to be confused with the
Chile, by the way. Diego Costa against Zach Chile.
Not to be confused with the footballer, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Spencer, for the UK fans that don't know much about Femke Hermans, what can we expect from her against Savannah?
Right, so Femke Hermans,
I think it's Femke. Yeah.
Femke Hermans. She is a former European champion. Current European champion, former WBO world champion. She's got a lot of experience. She's been in with Claressa Shields. She took Claressa Shields 10 rounds, and you know what? At times she was giving Claressa Shields a good fight. I mean, she was outboxed and completely outboxed for the 10 rounds. But one thing she showed, that she switches from orthodox to southpaw all the time. She's tough, very tough. She takes a great shot, a little bit straight back, comes in, he walks in straight lines with her chin in the air. Really, a style suited for someone like Savannah Marshall, because Marshall is pound for pound possibly the hardest hitting women's boxer in the world today. So the Hermans style sort of like suits that, but she showed that she's got a lot of grit, a lot of determination, and more importantly, there's no pressure on her shoulders, so she's going to want to go there and nick that #1 spot for Marshall. So I think this is a great fight. It is, but yeah, Hermans is a good fighter. She can fight.
See, like you say, Claressa went the distance and beat Hermans. Does Savannah need to win more impressively, or does that not matter?
No, I think it does matter. I think it matters a lot, actually. I think this is about making a statement. Claressa Shields is very good at speaking outside the ring, as we've seen. She lights up a room. Savannah Marshall's the quieter of the two, but she really needs to make a statement in here. I think if Savannah goes in there and beats Hermans and wins inside the distance, she's made that statement, and that will be round 1, Savannah Marshall. You know, I think it's all about not going in there and just getting the win. It's about going out there and going in there and doing a really good job on an opponent that's been the distance with Claressa Shields. So yeah, it's an interesting one, but yeah, she definitely needs to make a statement.
And if things go Savannah's way, we're looking at Claressa Shields next. When you look at that fight compared to the Taylor-Serrano fight, how do you compare those two? Because people weigh them up as what's the biggest of all time.
Do you know what? I weigh them up as equals, really. That, you know, they're two totally different fights. I think that Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano put women's boxing on the map. They really brought women's boxing to the forefront of women's boxing. You know, they've sort of captured the imagination with that. And then Savannah Marshall has obviously had her own journey as well, going from this shy girl into this, developing into a great fighter and possibly a future world champion. So I think they're in very different places. I think that Katie Taylor's one that everyone will know. Savannah Marshall's someone that more and more people are getting to know about. Claressa Shields is very well known as well. I think they're equals, man. They're two great fights for different reasons, but I think ultimately it's about putting women's boxing to the forefront and on the map, and I think that those fights are really going to push the women's boxing forward.
So it's just a couple more outside of this card. I know you've got to rush off in a minute, so let me just ask you a few more. Obviously, Oleksandr Usyk said he's going to take the rematch now against Anthony Joshua. What's your thoughts on the rematch? Early to say, not being announced, but looking like June 25th.
Yeah, I think June 25th, possibly even Saudi as well, they're talking about. So, yeah, it's a brave move by Anthony Joshua. I spoke to him about that anyways. I said that a fight that he needs to do, you know, for himself as well. You know, he said it's a fight, you know, he needs to get out there and he needs to go and right the wrongs. So you got to respect him for that, for taking that decision to go back into that rematch with Oleksandr Usyk. And for Usyk, obviously, he's going to be fighting for different reasons now. He's been released from, you know, from the war that's going out there, with this tragedy that's going on with the Ukraine, and he'll be fighting with an extra strength, really, won't he? Because he'll be fighting for his people, and I think with what's going on in the world right now, that's going to give him an extra push. So yeah, it's a tough night for Anthony Joshua, but you know, he's my boy, and you know, I want Anthony Joshua to win. But Oleksandr Usyk, he's gone into training now, and the fight is happening. It's it's a tough fight, mate. It really is, but one we're looking forward to. There's some massive fights right out there, isn't there? April 23rd, Tyson Fury, Dillian Whyte, Anthony Joshua coming up as well. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be good.
We've discussed April 23rd a bit before, but I wanted to ask you, obviously you're a host on TalkSport. Were you present with what was going on between Frank Warren and Dillian Whyte's lawyer, and what did you make of it?
Yeah, I think that, you know, Simon Jordan asked him the simple questions, the facts, and that was basically, you know what Dillian Whyte's lawyers calling for this escrow to be put in place, and the money has to go into escrow before the fight and all that. When Frank Warren saying, well, was it in the contract then? You read through the contract, was that in there? No. Well, so why are you asking for that now then? It's not in the contract, mate, so don't tell me to put it in. So I just thought the lawyer looked a little bit silly on there, really, if I'm honest, because he couldn't really answer the questions that Simon were asking him, and they were quite simple, basic ones. Like, if the escrow wasn't in there, what's your argument? You know, why are you asking for it now to go in there? Oh, I know why you're asking for it now to go in there, because Dillian's actually breaching the contract or breaking the contract because he's not advertising the fight at all. And I think Dillian's stupid, because I love Dillian as a fighter, by the way, and I think that it's a stupid move from him. I think he should go out there, advertise it as much as he can, and, you know, go out there and try and win those titles. You know, but yeah, so there's loads of crazy stuff going on behind the scenes, but yeah, I can't make too much sense out of what Dillian's game is and, you know, what they're trying to achieve from it. I really don't.
And we've seen Tyson Fury's been sparring the likes of David Adelaide, and he's brought now Jarrell Miller into camp. Obviously been a mixed reaction. What have you made of Jarrell Miller sparring Tyson Fury?
Well, I think that he should be kicked out of the sport, Jarrell Miller. I think that it's a disgrace that he's even over here sparring Tyson, and I think it's quite sad that Tyson's asked him to help him out for this. You know, he's a drug cheat, and he's been caught numerous times. He should not be allowed to box. The guy should be banned for life. You know, he's taken loads of substances, performance-enhancing substances. So, you know, for me, I don't think he deserves any part of being part of any sort of team. Tyson Fury's a great fighter, going to go down as one of the all-time greats. You know, like, if not the all-time great. Don't have people like that wrapped around you, man. Don't have people like, because that just tarnishes everything you're doing.
And just finally, Spencer, Ben Shalom said he's had positive conversations about a fight between Kell Brook and Chris Eubank Jr. Would you like to see that fight?
Yeah, I would like to see that fight. I think they're talking now that they was talking 155, now they're talking about 158. So I think they're very serious about that fight happening. I think that Eubank said he can get down to 158. Kell Brook originally wanted it at 155, but I think Brook, I've been with Kell a lot over the last few weeks, and I think he wants that fight. It's a fight that he wants. He only wants, you know, he wants another big fight. So that makes sense.
Spencer, we'll leave it there. Appreciate it.